This video is presented by the EA Creator Network. Hey, how the heck are ya? It's Zefrine. I wanted to go over some of the things that I have planned out for the Ultimate Decades Challenge, which I'm starting over on my Twitch channel. First and foremost, I am kind of utilizing Morbid's Ultimate Decades Challenge, but kinda not really. It's mostly for some guidelines on like timelines and whatnot. I do have my own spreadsheets, which I will go over in just a little bit, but for the most part, I am using like the aging system that they have, and that'll like change by decade, and then, or that'll change by century. The death saving throws, you might see those get adjusted based on how like our community kind of deems things. Otherwise, we kind of like a little bit of spice, you know what I mean? We are using Wonderful Whims, and I have a list of all of the mods and whatnot that I am going to be using, but you might see us doing pregnancies differently, so you might not see us like trying for baby, but every single time that we woohoo, there is a chance to conceive because I'm using Wonderful Whims, which uses like a period cycle. You might see us adopt different sims based on if, say, like a neighbor dies or something like that, and then we want to bring their kid in. So again, this is kind of like a version of the Ultimate Decades Challenge, but we're kind of twisting things and going for story flow versus like rules lawyer, if that makes sense. This is also linked in the description. I have on my website my Twitch stories. So this is what we're currently playing. You can find the rules. You can find all of the spreadsheets that I'm going to be showing you here, as well as some of the family trees. So for the Ultimate Decades Challenge, you'll notice that I have 4 separate families that we're going to be playing. We have the Smith family. This is our actual rotation that we're playing, by the way. Then we have the Dresden family, the Fields family, and then the Royal Winslar family. So we have 4 different socioeconomic groups, and I thought that would be kind of interesting. So essentially, the Ultimate Decades Challenge breaks a year into 4 days. So we'll play each family for 4 days, and then we'll move on to the next one. You might wonder how this might work for seasons, so don't worry about that. I'm going to be using UI cheats to essentially like start where we left off with our season. So even though time has progressed since we played 4 days with the Smith family, we'll still restart the season to summer on day number 1. So then they'll have the equal amount of things. It might just be a different day of the week, essentially, if that makes sense. We have ages assigned to everyone. And if you notice down here, I have like a little bit of a tracking, since like as we're kind of trucking along, I don't want to lose track of when they actually age up because we're doing everything manually. If I have everything set up right, nothing should happen with the other families when we are doing a rotational style. So they're kind of like frozen in time. And whatever we do to like interact with them is what will happen. We'll get into this a little bit more, I'm sure, when we start to get to the Winslar family, but I also have horses. I'm going to try my best to see if we want to breed those horses. And so say hundreds of years later, then you'll be able to track back like maybe horses that were like once related to Bacchus, which is King Galfredus the First's like horse or something like that. We'll see how this goes though. Just an idea. And then I also have like pedigree. So basically this is going to be like their family tree here. As you can see, it'll like continue to go down, and then, you know, whatever children they end up having, and both partners. We'll also see how this goes. So I have essentially deleted all of the townies that are defaulted into the game. So what I have here are all the townies that we've made, and we have any associated like friendships and like traits, and we are operating on something called tropes, which essentially I'll get into that a little bit when I introduce you to some of the families. But first, I want to go over the world that we kind of built. So it's the 1300s, and it's in Windenburg. We're only operating on the left side of Windenburg, which is the Winslar area, and then also the Crumbling Isle area as well. We're not going to be playing in Old Plots or the Lake Center. Up here we have the Dukes of Dresden, the Mines, the Pit Stop, the Blacksmith household, the Smiling Goose, which is a bar, the Dresden Village, which is where our poor peasants live, and then a marketplace. So this is from like more everyday people. And then this entire island down here is dedicated to the royal grounds. This is the Royal Winslar Castle. We have the Royal Crypt and Cathedral, the Royal Gardens, the Royal Stable, who is housing 4 different horses and a stable keeper, the royal hunting grounds, and a fishing port. Since we're going in a specific order, I want to introduce you to the Smith family. This is Alaric Smith. He is the main heir of this household. He was born in 1272. Windenburg, he is a goofball, hot-headed perfectionist, and we've played him a little bit, and he's romantic, and he got that one through gameplay. He also has an aspiration that is successful lineage. So some tropes, these are little notes that we leave for ourselves to see, like, since we're doing rotational gameplay, so we remember who they are and how to play them and how to make decisions as them. So he likes fruitcake, we found out. He's devoted, gentle, firm, protective, and reliable. He's a lifelong blacksmith, and like his father before him, he is a very dedicated and devoted man and loves his wife and son more than anything. He works hard and keeps to himself, and life seems perfect. So this is Ingrid. She was born in 1276. She's family-oriented, generous, cheerful, and she has the big happy family aspiration. She also likes fruitcake. She's musical, maternal, crafty, resourceful, giving, devoted. She makes potions and home remedies and tinctures, and she cannot cook, though. Ingrid had lived an entire life before meeting Alaric. She loves to sing, dance, and play the flute, and used to travel the countryside, performing for any and all who would keep audience. And one day, she met Alaric at the local tavern, the Smiling Goose, and it was love at first sight. Eventually, they crossed paths again, and Alaric poured his heart out to her. And like he had missed his shot the first time they met, and the rest is history. And last but not least, we have Rory, who was born in 1291. He has the practice makes perfect trait and the whiz kid aspiration. He admires his fire. He admires his father. He's polite, hardworking, helpful, and loves to sing and dance. Rory really likes to look up to his father and thinks that he can do anything, just as though he were magic. He's not really, but as far as Rory is concerned, he probably is, He wants to be a blacksmith just like his grandfather and his father. He loves to sing and dance just like his mother. So we have a lot of happiness happening here. The next, after we are done playing the Smith family, we are going to be doing the House of Dresden. So this family lives at the north of Windenburg up here. This is Duke Henry of Dresden. He was born in 1270. And you'll notice that Scarlet Hill is listed as a pet. That's because they're servants in the household, and the way they interact with family trees is a little bit weird, so we added them as pets. He's also from Windenburg, of course, that's because that's where we're stationed. He's a glutton, snob, and self-absorbed sim who has the fabulously wealthy aspiration. He's possessive, lying, scheming, arrogant, jealous, easily manipulated, an eavesdropper, drunk, and he values legacy over anything. Henry comes from a long line of dukes in northern Windenburg. He loves to drink, hunt, and host dinners, and he believes he is destined for greatness, but is limited by his social, economic purpose, He is limited by his social position and perhaps believes he is more worthy of the throne than King Galfredus. Then we have Duchess Octavia, who was born in 825. She's a vampire. She's proper, she hates children, she's romantic, and she's a master vampire aspiration. She's a secret lesbian. She's dominant, possessive, cold, intimidating, cunning, and she undermines others. Octavia married Henry, the Duke of Dresden. Henry knows that she's a vampire. But this is something that is kept a deep secret, as vampires are not accepted in this part of the world. Even though she has 2 twin children, she is not interested in motherhood. Her true interests in life may lie elsewhere. She turned a vampire when she was 23 years old in year 498. And that is also reflected in their family tree. That's also reflected in their family tree. If you scroll to the top, I kind of made it this one because essentially I made it like the young adult color because she's essentially like forever 23. So that's reflected here. So in the event that, she isn't a vampire anymore or whatever, then we could age her up and then we know kind of where to start her because she'll just continue from here on out, essentially. Octavia married Henry. I already read that. And then, of course, they have 2 twins. This is Lady Alice of Dresden. She was born in 1297, just like her brother, but she is a vampire and her brother is not. She's angelic. And her tropes are that she is only obedient to her mother. She's going to give her father and anyone else a hard time. Alice is one twin belonging to the Dresden family. She is a vampire, but her brother is not. Her mother, Octavia, loves and dotes on her, but not her brother. And then over here, we have Lord Godric of Dresden. He's fussy, and he is rejected by Octavia. I wonder why. Godric is one twin belonging to the Dresden family. He is a human, but his sister is not. Despite his efforts, he doesn't receive the same love from Octavia as his sister, Alice, does. Third up, we have the Fields family. This is a very, very poor peasant family, and I decided to add an elderly sim. His name is Alistair, who is John's father. Alistair was born in 1228. He's wise, a loner, and gloomy sim who is a nerd brain aspiration. He's grumpy, short, and gentle to his grandkids. Alistair lost his wife when John was just a baby. He has a soft spot for his grandchildren, and even though he seems like he's grumpy and unapproachable, he has lived a long life and likes his gambling and quiet time. Peasants are illiterate, but Alistair has been secretly teaching himself how to read in hopes of giving a better future to his grandchildren. And yes, I have a mod for that. You can find that in my list. It's awesome. John Fields. John was born in 1269. He's good, generous, cheerful, and he wants to have a successful lineage. He serves others. He would give the shirt off of his back. He's a girl dad, playful, hardworking, jovial, positive, and a pushover for his kids. John is a kind, hardworking sort of sim. He tries his best to support his family through anything and is a generally good neighbor to all. He would give the shirt off of his back, though he has little. He's definitely a girl dad and loves his wife more than anything. Then we have Anne Fields. Anne was born in 1272. She's outgoing, family-oriented, nosy, and is a super parent. She's kind, outgoing, jovial, loves to sing and dance, and loves to bake. Anne is a nosy and outgoing type of sim, but not in a malicious way. She likes to understand others and know all of their ins and outs. She's kind and supports her husband and trusts his guidance and her father-in-law's wisdom. Then together, Anne and John have 2 children. Here is Mabel. Mabel is adventurous. She's also a social butterfly, which if you watched the first episode yet, you'll really see this come together. It's pretty funny, actually. I wasn't even playing them yet. She's mischievous, but not maliciously so. She's curious. She gets herself into trouble. And I actually wrote curious here a second time. Let me just go ahead and delete that before I forget, because I noticed that earlier today. And done. Mabel loves to spend her free time playing outside and fishing, hunting for bugs, or tagging along with her father. She often is found sneaking into places that she should not be, getting herself into trouble in somewhat dangerous situations. Her curiosity is not a malicious one, but just nosy, often because of nothing better to do, just like her mom. She dislikes it when her clingy little brother Kenred tries to tag along with her, often trying to sneak away so she can get any privacy at all. And this is Kenred, who's a toddler. He was born in 1279 or 1297. That would be impressive. He was a toddler. He's inquisitive, he's curious, and he loves to follow his sister. Kenred loves to try to tag along with his sister, and she dislikes it, often trying to slip away unnoticed by him. So he's a little tag along, and she'll probably try to go to places that she's not supposed to, where Kenred can't come along. Then last but not least, we have the Royal Winslar family. Oh, shoot. Let me back up just a second. Let's go back to the House of Dresden because I want to introduce you to Scarlet. I almost forgot about her. This is Scarlet Hill. She was born in 1278. I have her listed as a pet, again, because of the family tree situation. Her personality traits, she's chased by death, cheerful, and neat. I also have her listed as a servant, as an occult, so we can remember who she was. She loves children, and she's intimidated by Octavia. She's sweet, obedient, fearful, and quiet. Scarlet comes from a long line of Sims who exist to serve Octavia's ancient vampire family. Scarlet is conflicted, often feeling sick and lethargic due to frequently being drank from by Octavia. She has a lot of responsibility around Dresden Manor, including taking care of the kids and serving Octavia in more ways than one. Again, backing up, last but not least, we have the Royal Winslar family. This is King Galfredus I. He was born in 1248. I actually believe that I am going to have him be an elder on the very first day that we play him. So his portrait might be gray. But that's one thing that I have yet to do with him just because of his age and the way it lines up with like the way the Ultimate Decades Challenge stuff works. So he's technically an elder. You'll see he has 2 pets, Thomas Baker and Catherine Cobbler, who we will meet later. A character trait, there's with the royal mod that I have from Lazy Nith, there's a monarch trait, which is who you need that trait in order to be like do your royal things basically, because you're like the one in charge. He's also romantic and non-committal, and I'm sure he'll get more traits along the way. He wants to have a successful lineage aspiration. And I gave him a little all-call so he can remember who he was. Plus, he's got a little crown next to him. But some of his tropes, he's vindictive, iron-fisted, afraid of Queen Eudolin. He is stubborn and proud. Galfredus is known for his extracurricular activities. He is not a kind king and is also a little hot-headed towards anyone who challenges him. So this is Queen Eudolin. I think Eudolin is technically what we decided on. 1265 is when she was born. She's quite a bit younger than King Galfredus, which isn't uncommon. She's self-absorbed, jealous, and high maintenance. And also the successful lineage aspiration. It's just kind of a catch-all at this point until we can do other things. She's scheming, jealous, spiteful, and sneaky. Queen Eudolin is a very quiet but scheming type of woman. She and King Galfredus are always at odds with one another. She's cold and distant, but is it because of Galfredus's tendencies? I like to leave open-ended questions, and this is Princess Eleanora. She was born in 1284, which would make her a teenager. She's good and proper, and she has the soulmate aspiration. She's loyal and naive, a hopeless romantic, and oblivious. Eleanora is honorable, sweet, and meek. She's loyal to her duties and family. Will she take after her mother's crude ways or be someone who is more gentle and approachable? It is often said that she has more beauty than sense. Then we have Princess Elizabeth, who's dead. I think she died at like 15 years old. I don't know. I'm not good at math. But she died. She's about a year younger than her sister, or was rather. She was nosy and adventurous, and she had death by poison. She has the soulmate aspiration, and I gave her an occult to mark that she's deceased. But her tropes were clever, wise, cunning, sneaky, and brave. Elizabeth was always a bit of a tomboy. Queen Eudolin often turned up her nose and threatened to punish her for being an embarrassment to the throne for not adhering to the princess-like manners that she wanted her daughters to portray. It is said that "curiosity killed a cat" is a phrase inspired by her. Prince Galfredus, too, probably had her killed for a reason yet to be unveiled. So Prince Galfredus II, he was born in 1291. He's a child. He's evil and a social butterfly. Royal heir. I marked him. And he's dangerous, impulsive, vindictive, unrelenting, persistent, and clever. Prince Galfredus has always gotten his way. He pushes and shoves until he gets exactly what he wants and nothing less. It is feared that he is becoming more unmanageable as his parents are becoming more terrified of him. What does he know? It is rumored that Prince Galfredus had his sister, Princess Elizabeth, killed. So that is the royal Windsor family. Again, in order, we're going Smith, Dresden, Fields, and Windsor. So essentially, we'll play each of these for 4 days, and then we'll move on to the next year once we start with the Smiths again. And that'll be noted like in the title and whatnot of the like videos and stuff, but I'll have them all go in order. So I think that I want to give a little tour of some things here. So since we're starting with the Smiths, I want to give you a little look around of what their house is going to look like. So as we actually get into the game and like start play testing things might look a little bit different, but you kind of get the gist and like the vibes of what we're starting with. So the Smiths are a middle class. I gave them a little chicken coop, which you'll find in episode 1. They have 2 hens and a rooster, which I think we're going to name those eventually. And they have like a beautiful, quiet little life in like the countryside over here in Windenburg. And they live off of this beautiful lake over this way. So in back, we have a really nice area for Ingrid to do some laundry. a little well underneath a big, beautiful tree, and our chicken coop. But then we do have a little apothecary thing because I envision Ingrid to be someone who's very like motherly, healing, that kind of thing. Like she has a fix for like every single tummy ache or sore throat that you can imagine. Also, shout out to Courtney for the family crest because I actually made family crests for everyone. This is the family crest for the Smith family. But this is Alaric's like smithing station, and this is all functional. Thank you to the mods that I have listed in my link below. But then there's a little storage room, a cheeky woohoo closet. Then we come upstairs, so there's an entrance outside as well as a staircase that runs directly under this one that goes directly into the shop down below. Ingrid loves to bake bread, so you're probably going to see a lot of bread laying around, but this is our little living situation. Got a cute little stove, a little bathroom here, and a little living room. Ingrid also loves to do crafting. So if you go upstairs, she actually has a little flute here and then a cross stitching situation inside of her own little like private quarters. Then across the hall, this is Rory's bedroom. He's got a little bunk bed and a nice desk and a wardrobe. Extra room. And then this is kind of also like an extra room, but also not really at the same time. A little deck. And then this is Alaric and Ingrid's bedroom. In here. Oh, there's a plate conveniently. Oh my gosh. I wish they wouldn't put plates on all these random places. But that is a tour of the Smith household. Since it's related to the Smith household, I am going to show you the mines. Since Alaric is a blacksmith, he has to come and actually get the things that he needs to like create the stuff that he needs. So he needs to come get his ingots and his metal and whatever. So we made this cool little mine situation. There's also like a little campsite and that. So you might see some Sims kind of wandering around here. But essentially we have this little like roof piece that you go down into. And then it's this mine that like keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. Through all these meandering caverns. We've got a little fire pit down here, a little potato barrel, which is actually like a fridge thing, so you can eat from that. And then there is a bedroll as well. And like these rocks are actually the ones that are the mining rocks. Little chamber pot in case you want to, but that's the gist. So it just kind of creates the idea that we have to go physically somewhere to go get like and mine the materials that we need for gameplay. Next up, we're just going to go next door. We have a lot that's called the pit stop. We're going to be repurposing some of these lots the further that we get into gameplay, depending on like what we need to do. But for now, this is a filler. It's literally just a generic lot, which is intended to be like a little camp place for weary travelers to kind of come and rest their legs along their way. So nothing here, just some woohoo bushes and like a little tent, and that's about it. And another lot that is not associated with family, I'm going to show you the bar. This is the bar called the Smiling Goose. We might make some adjustments to this one based on the gameplay, but for now, it's just a straight up bar. We've got like a little hot tub down here and then like a fire pit. And then you come inside and then there's just like a nice bar with all sorts of like hunting things. There's loot, so you can have live music if you want to, have some drinks. Go upstairs, and then there's a few beds to catch a couple of snoozes or maybe a quick woohoo, who knows. But then also out back, we have a little outhouse that I made and a little bench to pass out on. This is called the Smiling Goose. Next, I'll show you the market. So this is intended to be just like a community gathering place. At first I had it as generic. I'm trying it as national park, but we're going to see what we can do to get more townies to kind of just come and randomly visit here, but we'll see what happens. So there's a lot of these fake like little stands and whatnot. There is like a wooden throne, but I'm hoping to get this hustling and bustling in no time. We actually do have these craft tables. So like if we have townie sims that actually can sell things, we can totally like sell our stuff here and kind of pretend that we're amongst all of these other little stands, which are linked in my spreadsheet, by the way, down below if you want those. But then I use a royalty mod so you can literally burn people at the stake. Little picnic place. We have ye old watering cooler here so you can catch all the gossip. Some chess tables. Some pea bushes, of course, and a little like busking area sort of that we kind of had to like just kind of make up because the city living ones were like too nice. But there's a little loot here as well. But very fun. I'm hoping that this will be sort of a nice community gathering place. So we have our Sims like can come hang out, come chat, meet people, and fall in love, maybe. Who knows? And here I have Dresden Village. So I have one playable family that I'm here. The Fields family is the main family that I'm going to be playing here. So this is actually a residential rental. And here is the family crest that Courtney put on a little flag for us. But this is like the poorest of the poor when it comes to like medieval times. So I tried to keep everything very communal, very small, very modest. There's a little field over here. I'm hoping that I'm using Lot 51's like free range mod or whatever it's called. I'm really hoping that eventually we should be able to have like our cow kind of like graze around, but we'll see what she does when we actually get to gameplay. So that might take a little bit of adjustment, but that's okay. But each of these houses are set up in different ways. This is the Fields house. And there's like a bunk bed for grandpa and like, you know, the appropriate beds for our lovely little family. I see that this is sort of like sticking out, but that's okay. Cause like we can totally nudge that. There we are. Yeah, they have their own little house and whatnot that they can use to live in and whatnot. And like typically back in these days, people would like have in their houses, it'd be like a big single room like this. And there's a door where like your cows or your horses or whatever livestock could come in and out because it was good for heat. So that's why we have this built this way. There's like a fake blacksmith thing. This isn't really real, but I feel like we might have someone who's like some sort of a poor tradesman here. And then over this way, we have some townies, and this is where the Millersons live. So this is a young couple. They'll have chickens in here probably if they decide to get some of those. And then over this way, we have the orphans. This is the Rivers family. So there's 2 teenagers, and then there is a child and a cat that is living here as well. So see some evidence of like the cat kind of about. So maybe we have like the scratching post and like the litter box here. So this should be hustling and bustling. And then they do have their own little field over here that they will actually like literally be planting in the ground. And we'll be seeing like a lot of farming stuff. And then probably some fishing because I made this accessible on this side. And then there's like a little fishing place that's like right off on the edge over this way. So then attached to this windmill here, we actually have a little bit of a skill room. So there's a place to make some candles if we want. There's a spinning wheel as well as like a cross stitch situation kind of in here. And this might change and morph depending on like what we end up deciding to totally do with the peasants. But hopefully we should find some like really fun gameplay in here. It's a very good community spot. And last but not least, in the Windslar area, we have the Dukes of Dresden household. This will be home to the second family that we actually end up playing in a rotational gameplay. I wanted them to be very wealthy. Please ignore all of like this equipment out there. There's not really anything that I can figure out how to do right now. I know there's a way to delete it, but like it'll take me a second. We're just gonna have to deal with ye old DJ equipment and clubbing lights and whatever else. But this is the Duke's estate. You can see that they have access to these like extremely lavish gardens that are down there. So I can envision us taking some nice strolls that way if we want to. And then down here, you've got this entryway. There's a big dining room set with some food, a hallway that kind of loops around. There's like a toilet. Here's the kitchen that's going to be accessible for the peasants, the larder, and then the peasants' staircase over here that leads to the peasants' quarters, and then up onto the wall, and conveniently over into the Duke's room over across the way. Fascinating, interesting, weird. I wonder why. But this is this wing of the house. And then we go across here and there is a big like drawing room. So there's like some chess and then like a nice fireplace to curl up around. And then over this way, we've got like another bathroom and across the hall. So everything kind of like loops through the middle as well here too. So you can see there's like a little courtyard and whatnot. But then you'll notice there's this little staircase that's down here. And this is actually where they have a dungeon in case we want to utilize something like that too. So there's like a little chair in case we wanted to have like a pretend guard or something that's there. But then we have these two flanking staircases that go up and down. I'm going to start on this side of the house. So this was the Duke's quarters and they have their own private bathing chamber. And then over this way, this is the Duke's office. And then we have the children's room. I think I'll have to add a different bed for the toddlers because initially I built this before I made the family. So I'll have to swap out those beds, but we've got some cute little toys and other little things in here too. A bathroom. And then across the hall here, we do have a big dining hall. So there's room for lots of entertainment, dancing, music, you know, the whole 9 yards. And a big table for us to sit at if we want to up here. And then over this way, we have like another room and like a bar because the Duke likes to drink. And then another little sitting area as well. So this side of the house is not accessible to the peasant's house. It's only through the kitchen and also through the bedroom that's up here. And there's nothing up in the tower, at least yet. Who knows? We might add something in there, but I don't know at this point. But that's the Duke's estate. And we're going to attend the royal grounds now. So this is the Royal Windsor Castle. I went relatively light on the decorations for this one. I didn't want it to be super ridiculous when I go to play. So I didn't really do like a lot of ivy, a lot of extra little details. I went for functionality over like aesthetic for the most part. So this is the castle grounds. This is where our actual royal family lives. So you walk in through this gate, there's like a giant portcullis, and there's some gardens off to the left, a little place to sit and eat. And then the king loves this kind of stuff, you know, like bonfires, community building exercises, some decor, some stocks and stuff, some sword fighting, you know. You just never know what you're going to get with the King Gelfridus I. We also have a functional moat. The alligators don't actually like kill people, but we can teleport people here and they can dive right in and then we can kill them off if we want to and pretend they died in a moat. So that's actually really cool. That was really fun to make. Then off on this side, I have a pretend blacksmith. So this isn't something that I plan to use on this household. I'm saving that for the Smith household, but it's here. It's aesthetic. And then this is a guard house over here. So this is actually a barracks. So there's like all sorts of armor here. And then you can see there's like a grill and a fireplace on the outside, a sword fighting practice stump, and all sorts of things. There's like game table. I have bathrooms, bedrooms, and then the tower that goes directly upstairs. And then we have our pigeons up here, as well as some archery, like practice targets and whatnot that are like on top of the barracks. Then of course you go downstairs in the barracks and there's yet another prison. So there's a dungeon down here and we also have these shackles. So we're going to see how those work out. So we might be able to, you know, hide some people down here if we want to. Quite potentially. So first things first, this is kind of like a little gatehouse, and then it goes across a little drawbridge that we made. Then you hang left and pretend you're a guest. So we're going to meander this way. And then this is where all of this action is. We can watch people jump into the moat if we want to. But as soon as the functionality is fixed, this is something that is broken at the moment. We probably won't have any grand balls because I know there's like mods. The mod for it is partially broken, but he's working on a fix. But this is the ballroom. And so maybe we won't have like a ball, but I could see us totally coming down here and dancing or doing something and figuring something out. But there's a place for the king to sit, little music area, and you kind of see what's happening here. But then if you're like a guest here, you can come in through these big doors, and there's a little place to sit. Behind these curtains, there are cheeky little places to woohoo if you want. You come through the arched doorways, and then there are some bathrooms off on the side. But then, are you hungry? We'll go on upstairs, and then there's a big dining room up here. And all of this is like a completely accessible area for our guests. So we've got banquet tables. So I plan to like fill those and utilize those, and probably like when we have a lot of guests instead of like cooking a bunch of food. Because I imagine us having like very big dinner parties and hosting and wining and dining and whatnot. So this is like the guest accessible area over this way. So we're going to go into the front door of the castle. So you come in directly into the front, and it's all big and lofted. There's a huge staircase, but then there's this door straight ahead. And this is a chapel. So we could host like royal weddings here if we wanted to. We could do something. I don't know exactly, but I felt like it was kind of necessary in case we needed to have some weddings like on grounds. We can do that. The symbol of religion in our save file is the symbol of the plumb bob, or like they're worshippers of the Watcher, which is like you playing The Sims. I thought it was kind of cool. And then we also have an apothecary in here and a cauldron where we can make people soup if we decide to. So this is our little like cathedral chapel thing that's inside of our actual little like castle. But then there's these double archways that come this way. There's a little bathroom. And then this is the peasants' quarters. So there's like a whole big kitchen in here, and then like a big larder with lots and lots of food if we want. And then the peasants' actual sleeping quarters back here, which we have 2 of those that are actually in our household, who I actually forgot to introduce you to. Oh my gosh, silly me. Give me literally just a second. Since they're literally not in our family tree, you have Thomas Baker. He's romantic and nosy, and he's a teenager. So he's honest, a chronic eavesdropper, hard worker, a bad boy, and a little bit of a softie. Thomas found himself in a lot of trouble after he was caught stealing a loaf of bread for his orphaned little sister out at the peasants' Dresden village. While on trial, Princess Eleonora noticed him and begged her father to have mercy. In payment for his punishment, they forced him to do all of the hard, dirty work maintaining the castle grounds. But one day they had a taste of his baked goods. And then we also have Catherine Cobbler. Catherine is neat, loyal, and creative. I believe she's an adult. She's kind, quiet, motherly, talented, and trustworthy. Catherine has been a loyal member of the royal staff for her entire life. Her father was a cobbler for the royals, but she was utilized as a wet nurse for the youngest royal child, Prince Galfredus II, after she gave birth to one of her own children that died shortly after they were born. She has a lot of compassion to give, but where she spends her nights on occasion is up for question. It's theorized that maybe King Galfredus spends his evenings with her, and maybe she had one of his illegitimate heirs. And so maybe that's why that baby is no longer here. We'll never know. But it's not below King Galfredus. We have this long hallway. It goes across here. There's a little like courtyard that we can see. So we can come back here. We can have like little conversations. Come sit and yap. Do whatever we're going to do. Get away from the noise. And then just a cute little garden and like a little bench. It's very, very cute back here. But then we're going to find our staircase. So there's the main staircase that goes over here. There's lots of like open areas where you can sit and talk, big sprawling hallways. You'll find bathrooms that are kind of sprinkled throughout. So you can see this hallway, and then there is actually a throne room that is directly right here. So there's a throne room. We've got our crown pedestal where we can like do the things. I think that's where you get your titles and stuff. I can't remember, but I wrote it down. And then off on the side, we've got a war room, which is essentially just King Gelferdis's office. But this bookcase is actually a liquor cabinet, which is really fun. I think King Gelferdis might be a little bit of a drinker potentially. Who knows? There's a map and then a bookcase door that's back here with a treasure hoard. Lots of diamonds and gold and all that kind of stuff. So that's the throne room. But then you can see where the servants' quarters come up and then where the dining room kind of loops through too. So this is like the main floor up here. But then, also off here, we do have the music room. So there's a lute, a harp, and a flute that are in here on this floor. So we're going to go upstairs then. Up through this hallway, there's a private, this door is going to be locked. This is a tower that we can access the rooftop to, in case we want to get up there for whatever reason. You never know. But the first room over here is the needlework room. I decided to put the quiet craft in here so we can knit and cross stitch for the ladies to sit and yap and like do that kind of stuff up here. This is Prince Gelferdis's room. He has his own like little living quarters, and then he also has access to the main tower if he wants in a bookcase door. There's a little woohoo blanket, you know, just a place to get away from it all. Think about whatever princes think about. Then down the hallway, this is a lofted area above the throne room. And then across, we have Princess Eleonora's room. So this is Princess Eleonora's room. She loves the color pink. She's got a little computer and the little bathing chamber. I think we'll probably make some adjustments to his bedroom because he doesn't have a bathing chamber, but you know, it's fine. Off this way, we've got a couple bathrooms. So there's plenty of places to go to the restroom in case we have guests. Then there's a little like cross section hallway. So this room is King Gelferdis's room. So this is his chamber. And then he also has like a private deck that's out here, his own banquet table, a woohoo blanket. Because like, hello, have you met him? And then over this way, this is the Queen's chamber. And she also has her own little like bathing area as well. But one thing that you'll notice is that there's this little room. So I've got bookcase doors that are in here. And there's one that leads to the Queen's chamber and the King's chamber. And then it goes into like a little antechamber that's between their rooms. There's a little quiet, like living space where they can kind of come hang out if they want to. So I do believe that this is the final tour of the Royal Windslar Castle. Didn't go super crazy, but it's still really big anyway. But that's not the only thing that they have access to. So they have royal horses. There's 4 horses. And then we have a young man named Wesley Ryder who lives here. He's a little teenager. As you notice, I wanted to maybe have some people for like Queen Eleonora potentially, you know. We need to have some townies, but these are the stables. I swear these horses live better than most people here, but there's stables here. And one single stable keeper. So this is the stable keeper's like residence up here. I won't be playing him. He's just a townie. We could come visit him though if we wanted to. But then there's just like 6 beds. So we have enough room for having more Sims. I need to actually put a mailbox down because I forgot about that. And then the mailboxes get a little bit crazy. I am most definitely going to just be putting this up here because this is actually pigeons. So we're going to pretend it's up there. And we're good. But yeah, nothing super ridiculously crazy. Just some access points. And we've got like these little portcullis and everything. And then he'll be hanging out with the horses, I guess. Nothing super crazy for that one, but still a good place for us to go and have horses without having them in our household. But then next, I want to go show you guys the Royal Crypt and Cathedral. This is actually a cemetery lot where we can perform funerals if we want to. This is up on like the bluff lot or whatever. So we have like a really cool medieval looking like cathedral up here. That's like way up high. We're just gonna go right in the front door. These are just kind of like debug ones. Those aren't real. We're going right in the front door. So immediately inside, you've got like a little lofty area. Then there's like a little hallway. We have a little chapel. This could probably very easily be repurposed for like funerals and whatnot once it comes time for us to do that. But for now, I think I just have like the simple podium, and then we could put a casket there, or even weddings if we wanted to. If we wanted to have like a big royal wedding here. Hallway that loops around. I kept this one pretty simple. Bathroom, a staircase that goes upstairs. It's lofted above the altar area, whatever you want to call that. I don't know. There's another lofted area, hallway, and then a chamber for the like the priest or whoever who would be like running this ground. But then that's not all. We've got the royal crypts that are below here. All of this is functional. So you can come down here. There's a little fireplace to lounge. Coffins will probably end up replacing at some point. And then the hallway loops around. These portraits are placeholders. I need to have paintings made. Same with these ones. But then these are like little like grave sites and stuff. Places to put urns if we want. Princess Eleonora is going to be the first person to come here. I'll probably put her in the crypt. But yes, this is all 100% functional. Like your Sims can go in here. They can use everything. It's all ready for gameplay. But that's like a really cool crypt and cathedral. So we can like a place to put you dead, I guess. Next up, I have a fishing port. This is on the lower right-hand side of the map. Or the lower right-hand side of the island, whatever you want to call it. Little fishing port. So this is just a generic lot where we can come away to get away from it all. Don't ask me how they get the boats there. That's not my problem. That's their problem. But I kind of made it look like a little like shipping thing so they can like get your boats up there, fix them, do whatever they gotta do. I don't know, you know, boat things, I suppose. But there's a grill and like a little beer keg thing, a game table. I actually might put like a real game table so we can come here and like actually hang out and do things. But I could definitely have seen like Princess Elizabeth hanging out here. There's a woohoo closet. And then you go upstairs. I thought about maybe putting like a little woohoo thing in here, like a blanket or something, but I don't know. But I thought it was kind of fun to do. Also, there is a drinking thing here. So like, there's a little bookcase, but it's actually like a liquor shelf. And I like to imagine that maybe the sailors bring these things here, you know, and these are like things that are just a part of offloading the ships or whatever they have to do when they're here in the port. And we have the royal hunting grounds. So this is just another generic lot. And then I envision this to be a place where we can come and hang out and like talk with people, drink a little bit, whatever, and then go hunting, because that seems like a good idea. Because this is like a little rabbit hole thing where you can actually go hunting. So I think this would give like a good leisure time thing for like the king to go do if we wanted. A place to put the horse, whatever, tents and whatnot. I didn't really have like a hunting lodge because the castle's like literally just right there. So there's not like a heck of a lot of things going on, but we might add things, take things away, you know, as gameplay kind of declares it. And last but not least, we have the royal gardens. So I know we have a little courtyard, but I wanted something that was a little bit more extravagant and ridiculous to kind of come to. This is literally just like a generic lot, and we can come here and the ladies can come chat and court, go on dates, kiss, gossip, work on needle projects, whatever, you name it. But there's a little like enclosure over this way. And lots of like meandering pathways and loads of fireflies at night. So we'll be seeing those kind of come out. Little bench over here that we come across this way. There's a table as well as like a little banquet table as well. And a wishing well, because that's going to be fun, because like, why not? But I love the idea of this. I don't know like what the royalty mod is going to be, but there's a debutante arch, which is like, we might be able to have some functions with that, but I don't know. It's like a specific arch that came with that. and I'll see what that entails. But I thought that looked pretty over the patch or over the pathways anyway. So why not? But I tried to make it look like as extra and like extravagant as humanly possible. Also, the majority of my lots are like very sparsely lit, sparsely lit, because I don't know. We're not just gonna have open candles or like lanterns everywhere. So I kind of focus on like very select areas, but I think that it looks very romantic anyway. And some little things that you will see in our calendar. So we've got every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, we've gotten markets. It's just kind of a reminder if we're playing a lower class family, such as the Smiths or the Fields family, to go to the market to sell things. So it just gives us a chance to like sell our stuff and make some money at the market. And that's kind of how that goes. So far, what we have also is the summer solstice. We got drinking, grand meal, attend holiday ceremony, and fire on our summer solstice holiday. The market doesn't have anything. It's literally just a reminder placeholder. And then we have on the first Saturday of fall, we've got Haunting Day and the market, of course. So it's a day of remembrance, spooky spirit, and thankful spirit. Then we've got Harvest Fest, thankful spirit, and grand meal. Then the winter market, which is like a little bit more festive and a little bit more involved than like a standard market, but it still falls on like a Friday, which is like a normal market day anyway. Maybe you might sing, like do art and music spirit, like you dance, paint, whatever. Like it's just a lot more like spirited and whatnot. Then we also have the winter solstice and also a market. So the winter solstice, you attend holiday ceremony, drinking, art and music, and get involved with art and music spirit. Then the first day of spring, we've got the spring renewal. So it's cleaning and gardening. And then we also have, the Easter or market over here. This holiday is all about woohoo. It's drinking, romantic spirit, and drinking. So you can imagine things are going to be a little bit more loosey-goosey. Additionally, I think it's like the first day of summer or something like that, or the second day of summer. We also have King Galfredus Day, which is like kind of his birthday is what we said. So then it's just kind of a holiday to like celebrate the king. Also, I don't know why the game decided to like give him random outfits, because that is most certainly what I did not put you in, good sir. I don't know what's up his butt, but we'll figure that out eventually. Today, when I am filming this, it is September 23rd, 2025, and we're about to get the Adventure Awaits expansion pack, and I'm hoping to see if we can make some sort of a woohoo resort, if you will, if you know what I'm talking about, that might be used by some high lords and ladies and whatnot. So I'm very excited to see that kind of stuff come into play. And I think we'll have a different lot, maybe somewhere off in like in the woods in Henford on Bagley, and maybe additionally like a hunting lodge or a vacation home for the royals there as well, or the nobles there too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was kind of a good like introduction to our little characters and all that we have going on in the, I guess like Ultimate Decades Challenge-ish gameplay, but thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys on future episodes. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that fun YouTube stuff. And don't forget, all my resources are down in my links below. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.